What's up, Bulldog fans? Aaron Murray here, and we have a special edition. It is the Masters Week here in the state of Georgia, there in Augusta. So I'd figure I'd talk to one of my favorite people in Athens. A place I stop every single time is the UGA Golf facility. This is my man, Chris Haack. Coach, appreciate you joining us here on a Monday afternoon during Masters Week.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. I always love this week. It's one of the funnest times of the year. When the Masters is in the air, the azaleas are blooming, the birds are chirping, the grass is getting greener, and it's a great time of year.
Well, you and I were talking before we started this interview, and previous record 6 this year. 7 guys that played for the University of Georgia golf team are playing in the Masters. Bubba Watson, Brian Harmon, Harris English, Russell Henley, Chris Kirk, Sepp Straka, Davis Thompson. You got to be like just a proud papa with all these Bulldogs playing in the best tournament in the world.
Yeah, it does. It's a sense of pride, and it makes me very happy to see those guys over there and being able to take all their families and enjoy that whole atmosphere, because it's one of those special places on earth that it's such an honor to be able to go there and play there and to see all my guys being able to do it. Having seen Bubba get a green jacket, I sure would love to see another guy get one as well.
You will not be there though. Why not make the trip down the road to Augusta?
Well, honestly, I love going there. It's a fabulous place, obviously, but yeah. I've been there enough times. But last time we had 6 guys there, I didn't get a chance to see all of them. And of course, a couple of them were like, man, you didn't come see me. I heard you went and watched so-and-so. So I figured if I stay at home and get it on the computer, I literally, with their technology that they have at the Masters now, I can actually watch all 7 guys play every shot, every hole, which is phenomenal. So I'd much rather do that. And that way I can keep track of all of them and see everybody. And that's the fun part, is I get to see everybody hit every shot.
All right. Speaking of getting a Georgia Bulldog to win a green jacket like Bubba did, what does it take in a tournament like this? Because we know how unique it is, the pressure, the tradition, everything that goes with playing in the Masters is in a normal golf tournament. Just everything's elevated to another level. This is like equivalent to playing in, for me, an SEC championship or a national championship. The juices are going, the mistakes are amplified, all that. So for these guys trying to earn that green jacket, whether it's their first or second for Bubba, what do they need to do during these next 6 days?
Well, first of all, it'd be the 3rd for Bubba.
Oh, 3rd for Bubba. 3rd.
Because you got to remember, he won twice already.
Yeah.
It'd be a 3rd for Bubba. Now, the thing about it is and when you think about it, when you play golf at the University of Georgia, we take the team over there to play. So it's a very special place for anybody that's not only grown up in the South, but especially if you've grown up in Georgia. And so all these guys have such great ties to Georgia and the South that they get a lot of fans. You get a lot of people over there rooting for you, a lot of people barking, go Dogs. And so there's that. And then you also have a lot of family members, a lot of friends. So there's a lot of extra intangibles going on in your life over there instead of being maybe on the West Coast. So there's a lot to that. And you just got to kind of learn how to treat it like another tournament, but it's just not another tournament. So I think the reality is our guys are smart enough to realize, hey, it is a big event. I just got to make sure I treat it as such, and just go try to relax and do the best I can do. And if the putter gets hot, maybe I've got a chance. And that's what it really boils down to. You got to get that putter hot.
So it ain't about the drive. It's about the putting.
Well, the drives help, especially when you hit it as far as Bubba. But as long as you can drive it well, if you can turn the ball over from right to left, it helps a little bit because it is a drawer's golf course. But again, if you can get the putter going, you can make some putts on that golf course, because it's very, very tricky to make putts, and you got to put yourself in the right spots. But having played it enough times as they have, they're slowly learning the nuances of it, and you just never know. Short hitter like Zach Johnson won it, so you don't always have to be a bomber. You can just make sure you get the irons and the putter going.
I like to see. I love Harris's swing. I would love to see Harris have a good week. I mean, all of them obviously want to see him have a good week, but I just love watching just how smooth and everything, and just how connected he is. Just a thing of absolute beauty. The NFL draft's coming up soon, so we talk about these guys in the tournament. Obviously, they're professionals. They've been there. They're pros. They're some of the best in the world for a reason. Guys are getting ready for the NFL draft, and we think it's difficult to go to the NFL. There's 7 rounds, not a lot of spots. It's way more difficult to become a pro golfer. Like I play with a bunch of your guys all the time, and those guys are kind of working their way to try and get to the PGA Tour, and I'll go play with them. I'm like, you're out here shooting a casual 65 at Sandown, which is a tough course. How are you not playing on the tour? And it's just like, it's that hard to get on it. What does it take to get to this level, and how difficult is it to get onto the PGA Tour?
I've always had guys tell me that it's harder to get on tour than it is to stay on tour. And you've got so many good players going through a qualifying system that, a guy plays really well and plays good that week and gets on tour. Well, then he's basically got a year to have a good tournament here and there to maintain staying on tour. But if you can't get through that week, it's just hard. It's just hard to break through. It's hard to go to those Monday qualifiers or to work your way through the Korn Ferry Tour sometimes. So sometimes it's just hard to get out there. And I've seen a lot of really, really good players, not only at Georgia, but in the college golf landscape, who I thought, man, that guy's going to be a really good tour pro, but has a hard time to get out there. And then I've seen other guys who make it out there who I would never in my wildest dreams thought they were going to get a PGA Tour card, but they played well that magical week, and then they played well enough during their season to keep the card. And again, they're all very good, but timing is everything for some of those guys.
Timing, and how important. I've never played an individual sport. I wish I would have played golf more. I always tell people there are 2 major regrets that I have in my life. 1, not spiking the ball versus Alabama in the SEC championship game. And 2, not taking you up during my 4 or 5 years in Athens whenever you're like, come play golf, come play golf. And I was like, Coach, I don't even own golf clubs. And, I missed an opportunity to play with guys in the offseason like Harris and some of these other ones, and obviously be around you. Since then, I've learned and tried it. That's why I love getting over there and hanging out with you guys and going the range with the players. But the mental side of playing golf, like, is that just as much of a hurdle to getting to that big time level, to winning tournaments? Because kind of where I was going with it is I'm so used to team sports, and I feel like it's way more mentally taxing to play on an individual sport because you can't really rely on anyone else. Maybe your caddy, but it's kind of just you. It's you against you, and you got to figure out a way to get that damn ball in the hole. So how much of that is a part of the game now, and how much do you guys work on, or do your players maybe see mental coaches?
I think that is basically the game itself, is being able to handle that mental side of it. All these guys are very, very good. They all got great physical skills and being able to hit a golf ball and so forth. But the hardest thing, and it's one of the things we do here at Georgia when we're trying to help kids navigate getting to the next level and getting better and so forth, is really they got to get better mentally. And part of that is learning how to play when times are the toughest, when the pressure is on. You're coming down those last 4 or 5 holes with a chance to win. The pressure is enormous. And we watched Sepp Straka talk about it earlier this year, and saw Harris talk about it a little bit this year about how nervous they were coming down the stretch. And what they have to do is they've got to learn how to play with that nervousness. So we always say we want to try to make you comfortable being uncomfortable, because you're going to be uncomfortable. So you got to learn how to handle that. So if we can put them in pressure situations, which is the reason we do the qualifying system that I do to make it to tournaments here, is nothing's given. Everything's got to be earned. So every time you're out there playing, you're under a little bit of a stressful situation or pressure cooker where you have to hit the shots to make sure you're in the lineup. So the more you can be under that kind of pressure and learn how to play with that pressure, the more comfortable you're going to get. And when you go to the PGA Tour, it's the same thing. And the more times you get in the top 10 and have a chance to win, it's hard. It's difficult. You may not ever win, but the more times you get into that situation, the more times you get more comfortable. And again, you as a quarterback should understand that is that,
Yeah.
when you're a freshman and you're having to make a 2-minute drill drive down to win a football game, it's a lot easier in your fourth and fifth year than it is in your first year. So the more times you get used to it, I'll always remember it. I tell our guys this all the time. And I can remember John Elway watching an interview with him, and he was talking about football, and he was talking about how as years went on, it was so fast when the NFL was so fast when he got in his rookie year, but as the years went on, the game slowed down, and he was able to see the field in such a more timely manner. So that just comes with experience and being in those situations over and over and over and over. And that's what you want out of your golfers, just the quicker you can learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable, that's going to help you. May not guarantee a win, but it'll help.
I swear I saw something watching a documentary about Tiger that I don't know if I'm right or wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure I remember seeing this where when he would practice putting, his dad would kind of walk in his way at times, like just walk right in front of him or stand in front of him, try and just take away his focus and see if he could refocus, little things that kind of throw him off. So like with your guys, how much of it is a fundamental improvements and how much of it is building that killer instinct to go out there and be that dog to be able to compete?
It's a little of both.
Okay.
Fundamentally, these guys all have pretty good fundamentals. And the one thing that we here do is we don't monkey with their golf swings a whole lot. One of the reasons we recruited them is they were good players. And if you look throughout history, I mean, gosh, there are different golf swings all throughout history, right? Whether it was, Jim Furyk versus Tiger Woods golf swing, or even Mickelson being really long, or a John Daly. Guys all had a different style. But what they all had was confidence in that style. And so as long as they're confident in what they're doing, that's all that matters to us. We just want them to be committed to the golf swing. Don't at the last minute go, oh, I'm just going to try to cozy this one out there, and don't make a committed golf swing, because that's when you're guaranteed to probably hit it out of bounds or hit it fat in the water, because you didn't commit 100% to the swing that you know. Why do you go out there to the range and hit balls? It's to groove what you do, and that's what you do when the pressure's on. You do what you remember on the range. I say to guys all the time, under a pressure situation with a shot, is just make a driving range swing. If you can think that mentality to just swing it and imagine I'm on the driving range, well, you never feel like you hit a bad shot on the range, or I should say, you don't feel like you ever hit a non-committed shot on the range. So if you commit to the shot, that might not go straight. It might not go where you want it to be at all, but at least you committed to the shot. And that's part of the biggest key to the mental side, is being able to convince yourself to make a committed golf swing. So we always use terms like, pick a moderate target, but make an aggressive swing.
See, I think my problem is on the range, I'm thinking about 10 different swing thoughts that I just watched on YouTube for the past 2 days. So I gotta focus in a little bit more. I know. I gotta stop. I'm dialing in slowly but surely. I'm getting
one
there.
Thought. You only need to have one thought. You can't have more than one thought.
That's why I love football. It's the hardest thing about golf, and football is just all reaction. You can't think, or a 300-pounder is going to take your head off. Like, you just have to go. And I feel like golf, I'm just too many thoughts, too many. Hands need to be here on the backswing, body needs to be here on the downswing, and it happens too fast. You can't do it. So I need to get out of my own damn way.
You would be better off if we rolled the ball to you and you had it while I was rolling, because you'd only be thinking about one thing.
100%, or do a Happy Gilmore swing, one of the two. All right, two more here for you, Coach, before we let you go. Just What's been some of the difficult moments of your career? Obviously, you're at Georgia, incredible state when it comes to talent, when it comes to golf. You've had a awesome career as a coach. We see the success both in the collegiate level, and then obviously we see the success when it comes to getting guys on the tour and the 7 that we talked about with the Masters. But what are some difficult times that you've experienced, and kind of maybe how this new NIL world and transfer portal world is kind of, even we always focus on football and that kind of sport, especially in the South, but how does that affect you and what you do day to day as a golf coach at Georgia?
I'm probably a typical coach in that, the ones that I lost were the ones that stick with me the hardest.
Mhm.
I hate the losses worse than I love the wins. Um, so still to this day, there's the loss we took at Carson Creek in the finals at Arizona State. I mean, at Oklahoma State to Augusta. Still, man, that was one that I really would love to have had. The year that we went up to Toledo to Inverness, and I had a great team because I had Harmon and Harris and Hudson and Henley and Adam Mitchell, who was a Walker Cupper. We had a great team,
Jeez.
and in the first round, we had to play Oklahoma State, who had Ricky Fowler and Kevin Tway and Morgan Hoffman and Peter Uline and Trent Leon. I mean, it was like an all-star game, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, it came down to the last match, which was Harmon against Ricky Fowler, and Harmon's 2 down with 3 to go, and he birdies the last 3 holes, and we win that match. And I mean, it was like winning the national championship, right? But then we had to turn around and play Arkansas that afternoon, and we just weren't mentally prepared to go out there again. We were just still living in that first match. And so I
Mhm.
kind of kicked myself that I should have been better prepared to get those guys ready to play that afternoon match, because we definitely had the best team. So those type of things still just gnaw at me that we just didn't get it done. Um, anytime you lose out on a recruit that you really thought you were going to get, you still think of, man, I hated that happened. Um, so those are always just the little minor pitfalls. But other than that, I feel bad that there's some players that I've had on my teams that I really thought were going to be long time tour players that didn't make it, and I still always kind of feel bad for those guys. But they're all still doing very well in life, so I'm happy for them in that regard. But
Yeah.
it's just the nature of the game.
All right, last one before I let you go. My big Masters questions. I've never, unfortunately, been able to play Augusta. Uh, you know, I know you got some hookups, coach. Come on, man. 4 year starting quarterback in the SEC for the Dogs. I got to find my way to get there and play. But what would a high single digit, low double digit handicapper shoot this week at Augusta?
A high single, low double digit.
Somewhere between a 9 to 11.
He'd probably shoot about 85.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
85?
He'd
No.
shoot 85 or better
From the tips.
from the tips. Because a low single digit handicapper, let's say an 8 or 9 guy, he's not a bad player. It means he can hit the ball pretty good, he can putt it pretty good, he can chip it pretty good. He's had to do something because he's generally shooting around, um,
78 to
probably high
83,
70.
84.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not going to make any birdies, but if he doesn't do anything stupid and make a bunch of double bogeys, he's probably gonna be able to make a couple of pars here and there. But I'd say probably around 85. That's I
Okay.
think it's doable.
Okay. Okay. I was hoping just to break 100. So that's my goal if I ever get an opportunity.
Well, now I know a couple of single high handicappers and double digit handicappers that wouldn't break 100 because their handicaps are inflated. They're not a legit 9 or 10 or 11. These are guys who have been giving each other putts all the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Now that guy
My
ain't going
mom
to
goes
break
crazy
100.
when my brother and I give each other putts. She loses it
Yeah,
on us.
yeah, shouldn't do it. Should never give a putt. And here's the problem in country club golf, right? they play these they against each other, and they're constantly giving putts. So the ego guy shoots 78 when he probably would have shot 83 or 84 if he'd have putted everything out, and he would probably have a more true handicap.
Probably.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I did figure it out. I used my I took my daughter out playing the other day, and I used her putter. Got down. It could see that line.
Right.
My goodness, I think I figured out my putting. I think I'm good. I solved it. I'm ready to go. Sign me up.
You can never work too much on your putting.
I know.
It's the key.
Just need more time.
But we'd love to have you back out here. So to your point earlier, between you, Stafford when he was in school, Drew Butler when he was here, the other day, who came out, wanted to hit some balls and kind of learn some stuff? Brock Bowers, because he's still in school. He's finishing up and he's trying to get into golf. So he came out.
Smart man.
Anytime. Yeah.
I know. I saw him 2 weeks ago and driving his scooter on campus, and told him that we'd have to go tee it up sometime. So I'll get him and Lad, and we'll get to the UGA course.
Yeah, come on out. Bring them out. Y'all come chip and putt with our boys.
I love it. Well, everyone, that's Coach Haack. Good luck this week. Enjoy watching. Once again, Bubba, Brian, Harris, Russell, Chris, Sep, Davis, 7 dogs in the tournament. Going to be an awesome week in Augusta, Georgia. I think the weather's actually going to be nice. Monday today, we're recording this, is kind of the only nasty day it looks like on the radar. So go Dogs. Enjoy it, Coach. And we'll get that round in soon.
Yeah, give them a lot of go Dogs and barking out there.